Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. Now find yourself a seat at their table.
Hello, and welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. I'm Mike.
I'm PJ.
And today, we're going to do a 2025 wrap-up. We're going to discuss all the past events and pop culture events of 2025. And we're really going to mainly focus from July to December of 2025 because PJ and I did an episode. We did the first half of that year. So now we're kind of finishing it off. So folks, we're just kind of going to go down the line somewhat in chronological order of how the rest of the year kind of went out. But it was a mixed year, PJ, overall 2025. We had some highs, had some lows, and some weirdos.
There was a lot of strange things that happened in 2025, and 2026, by the way, has started off just as strange.
Yeah. Exactly. So we have a lot to exactly. Yeah. So folks, we'll work our way back to forward. So we had the Coldplay CEO meme, right? The Coldplay thing. She ended up getting a magazine shoot. Okay, that woman.
Unbelievable.
You can't make that up.
You can't make it up.
Now, right at that point too, you had Stephen Colbert. He got basically canceled. The show's not going to get renewed. Shortly after that, about a month later, right, you had the Charlie Kirk assassination, right? Which is awful. We talked about it in one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Talk about actually a comic book actually got canceled because of that.
Because of that, yes.
And look, whatever you feel about Charlie Kirk, no one should be getting murdered.
No one should be getting shot. No one should be getting shot in the neck, regardless of what you think or believe. Yeah,
exactly. And if anything, it just creates more division. It's just more hatred. It doesn't help anybody. But right after that, Jimmy Kimmel made remarks about it. It was really more aimed towards Trump than it was Charlie Kirk. But he ended up getting canceled for like 2 weeks. And PJ, that was another event that kind of, wow. That was
a crazy thing to happen, because I'm of the belief that Jimmy Kimmel, I don't watch his show. I don't watch any late night shows, so it's nothing against Jimmy Kimmel. He never should have been fired, even temporarily. That whole thing, he didn't say anything so egregious where you'd be like, you have to take this guy off the air. And there has to be a level of, look, let's just call it what it is. You can't censor Jimmy Kimmel or any late night show or comedian or person in that way because the president got mad and you were afraid to piss him off. So you got rid of Jimmy Kimmel. And to me, that's just like, that was handled so poorly by ABC because they were afraid that, let's call it what it is. Look, it doesn't matter which side, again, of the coin you're on here. ABC was afraid of the backlash they were going to face from Trump, that they got rid of Jimmy Kimmel. And then by doing that to try to appease him and his side, you had people canceling Disney Plus left and right because they were like, well, we don't agree with what you did. So they pissed off everyone. What they could have done was just do nothing, and they never would have had a problem.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable.
That was a crazy scenario.
And then he got back like 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah.
And then he had like his, I guess, return episode, and that
that was the highest rated ever episode of Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, and you knew that was going to happen because everyone,
so
just one of the strangest things I could say. Look, in my lifetime, we've always had late night or celebrities say comments towards, and they kind of had, I guess, I'll say a media battle. But I guess now with the internet, it just seems so much more intense and almost like personal. Like you really feel like these other things. I was just kind of saying to a newspaper, "Hey, what do you feel about when they put the microphone in front of your face?" Like And that was what I think about him. But it didn't seem so like direct towards each other, But now it just seems like.
It's like everyone's just out to get somebody, and like they want to make these people fail and ruin lives. And it's just crazy.
I don't have Twitter. Do they have, or X? I feel like does Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump, did they have an argument on that? You could just kind of see their thread of.
Who knows?
Like in the comment section, do they have that? I feel like that's about to happen if it hasn't happened already.
I don't know if they. Here's what I think happens. They don't actually interact with each other. But what I have seen is Jimmy Kimmel is not shy when it comes to putting his tweets out about how he believes, and then there's always some sort of reaction, like from Trump, but not directly to him, but about it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what are we doing? I mean, whether you think what Jimmy Kimmel says is funny or not is irrelevant. He is a comedian.
Yeah.
He is on a late night show. It's the purpose is for him to make jokes. And since the beginning of late night TV show, the butt of the jokes is very often the president.
Yeah.
It's just always been that way. And the good hosts are usually going to do jokes about whoever's in there, regardless of what side they're on.
Yeah.
And the president, in return, is supposed to ignore it because there's more important things to deal with.
Yes.
This is how life is supposed to be. This is not the life that we live because
Right.
we live in strange, strange, strange times. And
And-
2025 is the strangest of those times. I would say, for all of my years on this planet, 2025 might have been the wildest.
Yeah. It's funny because right before New Year's, everyone was gonna say like, I'm glad 2025 is over. I think collectively everyone said it was a weird year in terms of maybe something happened to people personally or just globally or locally on a societal level has just been off the wall. Because right after that, PJ, you had the government shutdown, which I think was the longest ever.
Longest in history, I think, yeah.
I mean, even that was surreal. It was like, because you might be like, well, it didn't directly impact me. It impacts everybody.
It impacts everyone.
Because
it impacts everyone because the airport's like shut down. So it impacts everyone.
It's just, I don't even know what to even say. It was just one of the, like you said, PJ, it definitely the weirdest year, besides maybe the pandemic being very weird.
Right.
This was just a different kind of like dimension. It was almost like an afterbirth of that. Like, I don't know. I think all those 5 years of the pandemic and all the political stuff, blah, 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 it
just like came to a head.
Yes. And it just, what a weird thing. And it finally got resolved after 2 months, whatever it was. I mean, totally insane.
It was crazy.
Unbelievable. And then I know we're doing a lot of the political stuff, folks, but I mean, that was a huge
It was just a huge thing this year. Everything
Yes.
was politicized this year.
And then here comes the next thing where I'll say, I guess all Americans united on at least on this one thing was release the Epstein Files, right? And this has been a thing for years now, right? You got to get this out, you know? And at one point, Trump wasn't going to release it. And then they released it somewhat recently, but the whole thing is like full of...
But they haven't released all of it, right? Isn't that the thing? Like they were supposed to release it all and they're like, here's a page, or here's another page, or here's a couple more pages.
Weirdest things ever. Like, just, I don't even know what to even say. Weird.
That was weird. So they release thousands of pages of these files, right? They were supposed to be redacted. There were supposed to be certain things that are redacted. And I don't know if you heard this part, but if you took those files and like you put them in like Microsoft Word, you could just like highlight the words that were redacted and bring them back. So everything that was supposed to be redacted is actually now out there because the government didn't know how to actually do that correctly and redact a file. So everything that was blacked out that you weren't supposed to be able to read, it was like they just changed the color of the background. Now everything's out there again. And they did they analyzed like to see what words came up the most, like what names came up the most. And of course, the name that came up the most in the Epstein files that were listed was Donald Trump's name.
Right.
This is why I think the world is crazy, though. So I did not read the Epstein files or any of them, so I don't know why his name is even in there. I just know that his name came up the most. And then I think it was the FBI comes out, or whoever, or Department of Justice, I think it might have been, comes out and says, just because his name is in there, you shouldn't believe it because a lot of people lie. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we even doing? Like, just craziness. The whole world is falling apart at the seams.
Right.
The whole world. I don't care who the president is. I don't care which one it is. I don't want their name showing up even once in an Epstein file list. And I certainly don't want the government making excuses for it. And then everyone's always like, well, you know who else's name was in there is Bill Clinton. Well, good. But you know what? That's bad too. And let's hold him accountable for that also.
Exactly.
We're not saying give him a pass. We're saying
pass.
No one gets a pass. What a terrible world we live in.
I think another weird thing that happened earlier this year or the later half was Kamala Harris released a book, and it was called,
shit was crazy.
It was called like 110 days or 100. Basically, it was about when she, I guess the party gave her the okay. Hey, you're gonna be the next one.
There was some crazy interview that she did too, like that was part of the book launch.
Yes,
and where she just like shits all over Joe Biden in every interview.
It's one of those things. I'm like, well, what is the goal of this? Like, you trying, like, I don't know what the goal of it was, like, of her writing the book. It was just like, is she trying to like save her political career? So
that's exactly what it is, because she wants to run again. So she's trying to make it seem like anything bad that happened this year was because of the situation I was placed in, because the Biden administration failed. She didn't have time to run a full campaign. She wants to, I believe, I don't know her and I didn't read the book, but I believe she wants to run again and needs to somehow like sort of control all the narrative around her right now because everything
Right.
is so negative. That's what I think she's doing.
Right. I'm just keeping it real. I think that ship has sailed.
I think so too.
I think no matter book, whatever, I think it's, it's not, I
I
think
don't
it's
think
over.
I
It's
don't
over,
think
man.
that book hit the bestseller list.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone cared.
I think even if it was a smash hit that book, I don't think it would have been
Would
enough.
not matter.
Yeah. So it's just a very kind of bizarre, it was a bizarre move in general. It just, like I said, just more weirdness. PJ, we can confidently say we're really seeing the dawn of a new era when it comes to AI. It really is turning.
Ooh, AI.
It's turning really into Skynet. I can honestly say we are
Mhm.
definitely. It's gotten very advanced. I've been tricked. I'm not gonna lie, folks. I've been tricked. There's a video that I
Yeah.
think I sent to you. It looks like there's a car on a highway, and it all of a sudden it bumps into a like a tractor trailer, but it ends up being a cat driving. Obviously, it's fake. It before that, I guess the last punchline of that video, you thought, oh, it's a regular dash, dash
Right.
cam. I look, it fooled me, and it's getting pretty wild now. I gotta say, the AI stuff is getting. It's really
You really can't believe anything anywhere that you see. Like,
yes,
unless it's in person, you can't believe it because it looks so real on so many of these things.
yes. I think also like, look, I don't know how these obviously some kind of arithmetic, and it's basically doing because they said ChatGPT is basically like a Google search, and it just takes everything and it makes whatever it does, it compiles. It's amazing how it
Right.
works. But one of the things I just don't, I can't wrap my head about it is like they'll do like here's a Nirvana song but in jazz style, dude. I can't
I
believe
don't know how they
how.
do it. Yeah.
I mean, they have his voice. It's an
Crazy
amazing
stuff.
rendition. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
I've seen a
floored.
lot of that stuff. The other stuff that, like, I mean, I understand that, like, computers can do shit, like, I get it,
Mhm.
but even just, like, the art, like, the AI art, I feel like, create this image right now, and
Yep.
it just does it. It just does it? How does it do it? Because someone used to have to actually, like, if you say create this image, a graphic designer had to create it, and they had to
Yep.
there was, like, this whole process where they have to draw stuff and do stuff, and so behind the scenes, how does it just create? How does it just create in general? Just
Mhm.
pieces of art and all of that stuff. I mean, talking about AI, like, I'm in the comic book industry, right, as a retailer with a comic book
Mhm.
store, and so I see all this art come out weekly.
Mhm.
And even those comic book publishers, DC Comics got in trouble for this, were putting out covers on their books that were AI generated
Oh
that they
my
didn't know,
god.
but they didn't know it. The artist that they hired was like, "Yep, I'm an artist and this is my work." And they were like, "Oh, this is great. Can you make a cover for this book for us?" And it came out way after the fact that it was an AI generated
Oh
cover.
my god.
Yeah, and DC was like, "All right, well, we're not gonna use this person's art anymore, and we're sorry that it happened. Obviously, we support our creators and our artists, and we wouldn't use AI art." We didn't know, they got us. They
Mhm.
got one over on us.
Mhm.
So even, like, big companies like DC Comics owned by Warner Brothers is getting fooled by
Yeah.
AI art that's and it's just
Yeah.
crazy how
Did that
convincing it is.
did that artist say why he did it? He or she did it? Was that purpose? Did he do it on purpose to kind of show a point like, "Hey, it's getting that good?"
No, that
Is that
he didn't.
or
He
he just
just considered himself an artist. He considered himself an AI artist, and he used these AI tools to tell the
wow.
computer what he wanted the image to look like, and would then say, "No, tweak this, tweak that, do whatever." And he considered it that he made this image. He didn't, from what I understand anyway, the artist wasn't like, "I'm trying to prove a point. I'm
Right.
trying to pull one over." He did it thinking that this is the new next level of art. And DC didn't even realize it when looking at it because so many people draw digitally and paint digitally now. It's not the way it used to be with comics where it was all hand drawn and hand colored.
Yeah.
So they looked at it as, all right, well, this is digital art, which is
Right.
not something that people are against, really, like digital art if someone's
Yeah.
drawing and painting digitally. And that's what they thought this was. And it turned out later on to be AI. And the way I guess it came out was the AI actually sampled other artists' work. And that's how they were able to do it. And that's how it kind of came out because everyone was like, this is just this artist's work colored differently, essentially. And then it kind of came out.
Holy cow. I can't believe that guy did that. There's also videos of just whether it's and using silly things that's like Trump making out with like Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton and it is funny. And some of you just know they're fake, but some of them are somewhat convincingly real. And I don't think, I think, I don't know if it was Trump or some politician released a video Because Mondani was going to be, well, he is
Mhm.
the mayor of New York.
He's
That
the
they
mayor
show
now, yeah.
what could it be like it's going to be apocalyptic. But I'm like, you shouldn't be able to release
Do
that
that. Yeah.
exactly, especially as a politician. Like you can't. That's propaganda. It's false. You can't be doing that. Either side. No one should be able to do that. So
But speaking about crazy things that happen in 2025, Mom Donnie should be on the list.
yeah, I know. I
The
know.
because the
Yes.
mayor of New York should not be this important to the entire world, and he is, and it spawned like a cult following for this guy. There's a song that someone took the clip of what he said in one of those like press conference, whatever
Yeah.
he would, used. I don't know. I think it was AI that used it to make that Mom Donnie song, which is now you've probably heard it. The name is Mom Donnie. That song. I think that was an AI thing where someone used AI to create that clip, from what I understand. And then that's how it became a huge it became almost a tool for his campaign to
Yeah.
use that song to get him elected. Like that's how crazy AI is it has actual implications in real world scenarios. Skynet. You said it perfectly. It's Skynet.
Yeah. And just like even like simpler things, like we said, like music videos but once even YouTube now is kind of you can use AI to help edit your videos, and we
Yeah.
use that too. It does help us.
Yeah.
Some things, look, yeah, you can use it as a tool, but like anything, you gotta have some boundaries here. Like with music, Disney's getting like a little bit like, hey, you can't use our images
Yep.
for they're getting on board with those kind of restrictions. It's just really interesting because AI is gonna get more sophisticated. Even something with uh like your car, like we already have like driverless cars, but eventually it's gonna be like Kit, like from Knight Rider.
Yeah.
You'll be able to talk to your car and be like, "Hey, turn on station, put on,
Yep. It's
put
only a
on
matter of time.
K Rock." Yeah, maybe we have that already. I have no clue, but it's gonna be. We're definitely living in a new
A new
era of
world, a new
yeah.
era
This
for
is the
sure.
new
It's
like because Peter, you and I are old enough now. Like we saw the birth of the internet. This is probably
yeah.
the new in terms of technology, you probably have the internet. Probably would be fair to say the iPhone was a technological,
Yep.
milestone, and how that changed our lives. I think AI now is going to be. This is the beginning of that new era for us. It's going to
And
change
I
things.
feel like I'm gonna sound like an old person. I guess I am an old person now, but
Mm,
I'm gonna sound extra old. Every time there is a big advance in technology,
hmm
the connection between people seems to go away a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like it used to be if you needed to learn something, you had to find someone to learn it from. Then there was
Yes.
the internet. You no longer need to find someone to learn from. You learned it on the internet. And then from the internet, you got social media. You used to want to hang out with people or talk to people or
Mhm.
connect with people. You did it in person. Now it's just sending someone a comment on their Facebook page. Then it was like you said, the iPhones, right? That now takes over everyone's life. You don't even have to write down your calendar. Like everything's on
Mhm.
your iPhone. You want to talk to someone, it's just people don't even make phone calls anymore. It's just text messages. Now it's just words on a screen. You don't now you have AI. It seems like every time technology advances to the next level, the connection between people decreases, which then is why I think the world loses more and more of its humanity constantly, and why bad things keep happening because people don't need to connect with anybody anymore. It's just that's my rant. I like technology. I am pro technology, but there is a negative, and I think those negatives um, are the way humanity changes and how it interacts with each other or doesn't interact with each other anymore. Those are the negatives of the advancement in technology. I probably sound like an old man saying that, but that's just what I see.
Yeah, and it's no, I don't think so. I think talk about just how weird that year was. Only 4 days ago, 2025. But looking like I said, just looking back on it, and like you said with the technology, it's really crazy how science fiction really, most times than not, really becomes a reality or close
Yeah.
to it. Like just you want to say Orwellian or what or Skynet, all that kind of stuff. I just seen it with my own nieces and nephew or the adolescents that I work with or the ones that are in college, how older professors say like, "Hey, don't you can't use ChatGPT to write this," but you can't even decipher
You can't tell.
because you can even say, "Hey, make this friendly, make it dumber," or make
Yeah.
it more amateur. I mean,
Yeah.
whoa, or make it look like my writing style. So it's gonna really affect how we learn things. Like Pete said, even with musicians, like they say that technology has made, which is true. You have more advanced players more than ever, drummers, guitar players, singers, no question. But at the same time, we don't really have We don't have the next Beatles. We don't have the next Nirvana. How come? Why we have people who can play unbelievable? You can't even fathom the stuff they can play online. But for some reason, why is there a disconnect with songwriting? Why is everything still commercial? Even your rock bands, is something. There's an edge missing to it. A lot of big part of that is technology. Unbelievable though, PJ. Like I said, we're living in a new world with AI, and it's not going anywhere, folks.
No, it's only there will be Terminators. There will be. They're coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have. I think RoboCop is next, right? Then you're gonna get. I'm not sure what's gonna come first. Maybe Terminator, some T-100s, T-800s, or RoboCops. One of those. Like it might come out similar.
I mean, I've already seen stuff, and I believe it's real. Some of the stuff where you can see these robots that are powered by AI to like do normal tasks. Like you can have like your robot chef and stuff now. Like these are things that are starting to be like real.
Yep.
And the next step up is, all right, well, now AI can control a housemaid robot. Why can't it control a law enforcement robot? Which then becomes, why can't it control a militarized robot?
Thank God.
And it's really, really crazy. It's how I don't think we're that far from some of this stuff.
I know. That's what I just said, man. It sounds like, it's going to be sooner or later, it's going to be like Total Recall, too. We're going to be implanting our own memories. Unbelievable. But maybe we should lighten it up, PJ. Maybe we should get some doom and gloom. Let's talk about some positive things of 2025. So you had the opening of Epic Universe.
Okay.
Which had I'll say, an overall good response,
Yes, I think everyone who's gone there has loved it.
Yeah, one of the major theme parks. That was the newest one in like 20 years.
Yeah.
I think the last one might have been Animal Kingdom, maybe technically, or maybe.
Yeah, for like an actual brand new park. I think you're right. I think Animal Kingdom was probably the newest new park. And that feels like that's been around for a million years.
Yeah. So
there have been expansions and new rides and stuff to other parks, but a brand new gate.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a new gate in forever.
So you have Universal. Now they're going to actually open a theme park in England.
I heard, yes.
So they're going to have their own Universal Studios kind of thing, where they're going to have different lands, but it's going to have more the OG kind of layout. Universal Studios, your main street, and then you have your own sections. Obviously, Disney World and Disneyland, they're getting their own major construction. They got.
I mean, Animal Kingdom's getting a whole revamp.
Yep.
Indiana Jones Land, all this stuff is coming.
Yep. Zootopia, not Zootopia. What's that one called?
Yeah, I think it is. Is
you're
it
right,
not Zootopia? Yeah, I think it is Zootopia.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be Zootopia. They're going to do, what's the one with the house? The
I know.
Magic House.
That's
Encanto.
That's it.
Encanto, they're getting an Encanto.
Yep. And then
they're doing a lot of new stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I think we have an episode talking about some of the new things that are coming, but there's a lot of new stuff that Disney is going to be pumping out. When I went to Disney, I guess it was back in October, they have like a museum. And it brings you through like the history of Walt Disney and the parks and all this other stuff. And at the very end of that was what's to come. And they had like miniature models of all the different lands. And I mean, it really looks magical. If there's one thing Disney does, it makes something look magical. They really, and Universal now too is up their game to the point where it's like when they add something, it's epic. When Disney adds something, it's magical. When Universal adds something, it becomes epic.
Nice.
Yeah. But those really are positive things. If you're a theme park guy like I am, and I think you are too.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's great to see all this new stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
And I'm very excited about all this new stuff because 2025, we're talking about things that happened in 2025. Traditionally, I couldn't go on a lot of the rides in Universal because I didn't fit on them. I'm a bigger guy. But I am getting very close to being able to fit on these roller coasters, officially down over 50. Over 50 pounds. I think by the middle of this year, before the summer, I'm hoping to lose enough weight that I can go on all the rides I haven't been able to go on in the last few years. And there's a lot of stuff that like I haven't been able to do. So for me, like I can't wait to go back to Universal. I haven't been able to do the Jurassic World roller coaster.
Oh my gosh.
Because I didn't fit in the harness, but I think I'm only a few months away from being able to fit on it. So I can't wait to go back.
Oh man, it's gonna be a whole new experience, and I'm proud of you.
It is, yeah.
And, I love that. That's a beautiful thing, really. I'm really happy for you. And I think one of our goals is eventually to go to a theme park together and
absolutely
run around. So we'll get to enjoy that. But I think what's going to happen before we're able to do that is Toy Story 5 will be out.
Yeah. Well, no one asked for that. And Toy Story 5, huh? Why? Why so many sequels?
Yeah, look, folks, I think the reason why PJ and I put this on the list is, it's like PJ said, we have way too many sequels. I mean, 2025 was flooded with sequels. 2026 is flooded with sequels, and it's getting bad, folks. And
not an original thought left.
And that's something we could probably do a deeper
Toy
dive
Story
on.
fucking 5.
Yeah, it's
What do these toys got to do now? Like, what is left for this old cowboy and spaceman? Like, what do
yeah.
they need to do?
I know, like I think he's gonna fight technology, and they're gonna fight an iPad, and what that
Oh
is.
my
But
god, probably, but that's
it's one of those things where like the story really ended with 3. I hated 4. 4 was really a lot, but I hated
no
4.
one needed 4.
I hated 4. It was some funny stuff in there. There was some funny jokes. Don't get me wrong, but
Key and Peele are great,
yeah, that there
but
were some great.
but
I didn't really like it at all. What they did to
no,
Woody, what they
the
did to
story
Buzz,
was
awful.
not. There are funny moments and funny jokes for sure. And as you know, the technology gets better, the graphics on all these movies, I mean, they look great, they look sharp, all that's fine. But the plot of the movie was dumb, and no one needed it, and no one needs Toy Story 5. And let's be so for real, it's not going to stop. There's going to be a 6th.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, there's just money to be made out of Woody and Buzz. We're always going to see Woody and Buzz.
unbelievable, man.
If they want to then do it. Set it with a different family with different toys or something. Don't bring back Woody and Buzz. Just like Toy Story: The Next Generation. And you know what I would do? Here we go. We always like to say what we would do. If I was going to do a new Toy Story movie, I would base it on superhero toys and make it a superhero movie with the toys.
Yeah,
Almost as a satire on superhero movies. Not like, play it for laughs, but it would be satirical. Right. Anyway, that's what I would do with another toy movie.
I think with the more sequels coming, we're also going to get less. I think any original content we do get in the future, I guess, is a positive. Like maybe we'll get more action kind of movies. Hopefully,
I do like that.
I don't think we're gonna. I think it's like in our last episode, folks, or 2 episodes ago, where PJ and I did review of a bunch of movies. Like you're not gonna get so many of them now. There's so few now, but like Song Sung Blue, a Marty Supreme. They're already on the smaller scale right now. I mean, they're not because back in the day, in the early 2000s, bro, like you and I used to see movies like that. It'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
of course, we'll see this. I mean, I remember seeing Memoirs of a Geisha. I mean, that's a period piece, but I remember seeing.
But we saw so many movies that were just out, and we saw them. I feel like we used to go to like a movie a week.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing? We're going to a movie. Okay, let's go to a movie. I mean, that's what we did. And now it's like, do you want to go to a movie? Not really.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
how it's become.
Yeah, and like, is it really worth going, or just wait for streaming?
Yeah.
So even that. So you're really gonna see, folks. I think you're gonna see more of the sequels, more of these blockbusters. Which for theaters, I'm talking about just going to the theaters. You're gonna see those marketed just strictly for that, because the days of even like the movie that came with DiCaprio, I didn't see it yet. One Battle After Another. That was only
I haven't seen it. I heard it's good, but
yeah.
It was like in and out. You didn't have a chance to see it.
Exactly. So I think even those movies, like the Odyssey that's coming out with Christopher Nolan, he's a different level because he's so respected and well liked,
right?
Tarantino, but another director to make that, it's not going to get. It's probably not going to get made at this point,
right? And I'll tell you what, I've said many times on this podcast how I'm not a big Nolan fan. I can't wait to see the Odyssey. I think it looks really good. It doesn't look like his typical movie that he would normally make. The trailers for that look great, but you're right. That's getting made and put in theaters because his name's attached to it. If some new guy came up with the Odyssey, they'd be like, you can't do this. Get out of here. We're not giving you money for this. Speaking of movies, towards the end of 2025, there was a big movie thing. The first trailers dropped for Avengers Doomsday. Since we're talking about movies, I'll figure I'll bring it up now.
Of course, yeah.
Because we're also talking about sequels and all that. And have you watched any of the teasers yet for Avengers Doomsday?
Yeah, I saw the one. I saw it in theaters. I saw the Captain America one. I just saw the Thor one.
And then they leaked the X-Men one. It hasn't really been out.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay.
The X-Men one shows I saw the leaked footage. I haven't seen like a super pristine, clear version of it yet. But basically, it shows the outside of the X-Men mansion, right? It has the signs, gifts, Professor X school for gifts to youngsters, whatever. And then inside, they bring you inside the school, and you see Ian McKellen, 900-year-old Ian McKellen. And, if the wind blows the wrong way, we're gonna lose Ian McKellen. He looks very old.
God,
I don't mean to say that it's funny, but I don't mean to joke about it because I do love him as an actor. But he looks like he could go any minute. And you have Patrick Stewart back as Professor X.
Wow!
And he rolls out in the chair from not the yellow floaty chair they gave him in Doctor Strange, but he rolls out on his original chair, and there's a little. I think they say something, whatever, and then you see Cyclops in the blue suit with like from the cartoon, with the yellow band and everything.
right? Yeah,
And he rips off the visor and he looks up straight into the sky. And it's the famous picture of Cyclops on his knees with his eyes out and the
yeah.
beam shooting straight up into the air with like the Phoenix behind him. And then it's the X-Men will return in Avengers Doomsday, and it gives you the stupid clock that they've been given. And so for me, each time I've seen one of these little teaser trailers, I don't care about this movie. Did that Captain America Steve Rogers trailer make you say, I can't wait to see this movie?
It felt very desperate, and some of these might just be
That's the word.
it might just feel like they might. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in it for 2 seconds. These might just be cameos, kind of like something like they did in the Spider-Man brand new, whatever the one
Right.
that
Who knows?
I can't remember the name of it, but
No Way Home? I think No Way Home.
that's it. Yeah, it might just feel like that. I don't know. I just think we said this before. They should have just ended it with Endgame. Celebrate like they do with like the Harry Potter films.
Give it some years and then start over.
You have a lot. You have so much to write off. And I don't know. I'm not really digging. He's a great actor. I don't have a problem with that. Robert Downey Jr. But
Bringing him back as Doom.
I don't know, because
Yeah, I don't
is he
love
going
it.
to be? Is he entirely a new? Is he Tony Stark who turns into Doctor Doom, like in a different dimension, or is he Victor Von Doom? But he has obviously the face of. I don't know. I don't.
I think the word you used is the correct word. It feels like Disney/Marvel is desperate to get people to see their movies because no one is seeing them anymore. We have a whole episode, so we don't have to go into our thoughts and reviews on Fantastic Four or Superman. But when you look at it, the tides have turned where more people were interested in Superman than Fantastic Four. James Gunn's building up his DC universe, and it almost feels like Marvel is like, well, what are we gonna do? We got to dig up the things people cared about. Quick, get us Ian McKellen. Quick, get us Chris Evans back. We have to find a way to get people to see our movies instead. And you're right, it feels very desperate. That's how these trailers felt to me when they came out. And in 2025, we're supposed to hype up the big movies in 2026, and I think they failed to deliver.
Yeah. I understand it's a business, and they want to make. I think it's like they're just trying to make a quick buck. I want to. Tell them and just there's reels of people saying the same thing. Like Iron Man, the first one didn't start off as like this $1 billion. It was a hit, obviously, but they didn't know what it was going to turn into. I think you got to just start over, give it a chance. Like you can't always expect to make $1 billion movie every time anymore. Like be content. Like, hey, we got to reset the clock, start small again.
Yeah,
and you'll make that $1 billion again tenfold, but you got to invest in it.
But you got to build back up to it.
You got to invest in it and just, okay, wow, like No Way Home is a big hit. No one even talks about it. You and I even said that. That movie's completely forgettable. Even
completely forgettable.
Even Deadpool Wolverine. You can say what you want. Those movies, no one talks about it. Those are our most controversial episodes are talking about those movies and how we.
But I think history has shown us to be right on that.
Exactly.
No one is talking about Deadpool Wolverine at all. No one cares. It's because the movie is produced to just make money.
Right. And then is Hugh Jackman going to be in it? Is Deadpool going to be in it? It just becomes, I don't know.
They're all going to be in it. It's going to be an overbloated cast. 2025, back to our review, though. What else do we have on our list of things that happened?
I think you had a tear in your eye when you heard this news. Taylor Swift got engaged.
Taylor. I watched her documentary. That was another thing that dropped in 2025 was her 6-part documentary about the tour. And yes, I am a Swiftie. I appreciate her music. I appreciate her. I think she's very talented. I know not everybody is, but if you get an opportunity to watch the documentary on Disney Plus, the 6 parts, I think you should give it a watch. Just because I think as a musician, you'll find it very interesting how she put together the tour.
Yeah.
That was a beast of a tour. I mean, my God, I don't know how she pulled off half the shit that they did. It must have cost a fortune to build that. They built like a series of like underground tunnels under the stage so that she could be like pulled in all these different directions and pop up on different sides. It was an engineering masterpiece what they pulled off. I don't think there'll ever be another tour by any artist that will do what that era's tour did. I really think you should watch the documentary. I think you'll appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds something I would appreciate. Wow, it sounds good. I think another celebrity that got some big news was we have a new Pope, PJ.
Our new Pope.
And the reason I bring it up,
our Chicago Pope.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the reasons why I brought it up, because obviously it's a big thing, the Pope. But I thought what was funny was, I think maybe the year before, I think in 2024, a movie came out called Conclave. And I think that movie got a boost of downloads or streaming because of just the Pope thing. And
it did. Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny because I'm like, hear that movie was, I heard it's very good and blah, 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 and it was nominated, but it wasn't really a smash hit when it came to theaters. But it's funny how it got
But it did get a big boost.
Yes.
Here's how big a boost it got. That was already on streaming, right? And so you could watch it anywhere you wanted for free. But then everyone wanted to start watching it again because of the Pope thing. That it came like, it feels like it immediately came off of the free streaming, and you could only buy it for a while after that. Because so many people wanted to watch it. They were like, we got to make as much money out of this Pope thing as we can right now.
Yes, yes, yes. The last time
Let me ask you this about the Pope real quick.
Yeah.
Not this Pope specific, just the idea.
Yeah.
Is the Pope as important in the world now as he was years ago when it was like Pope John Paul? Or is the Pope almost like, what do they call him? A non-playable character now. He's an NPC. He doesn't count. You know what I mean? Is the Pope an NPC now?
Yes. And that's not a knock on religion. I think it almost feels just like someone becoming the new Batman. Like the new Wolverine. It just means like playing the same role, just seeing how if you think their version is good, it really feels like that. It definitely feels not as, I don't know, significant and
it does feel that way because I remember like
an NPC.
Pope John Paul, whatever number he was, I forget I think it was the second or whatever. But that dude was like everywhere.
Yeah.
And like the most beloved Pope in the history of the ever. Like everyone knew that Pope.
Yeah.
And then they replaced him. Well, he died. So it's not they replaced him, but he died. And they got a Pope. And then that Pope was like, you know what? This being the Pope thing's not for me. And he stops being the Pope. And then they're like, let's get this Nazi. Let's try him out. And they got a dude that was part of like the Hitler Youth to be the Pope. And then that guy didn't work out. And now they're like, let's try this dude from Chicago. They got great pizza. He's the Pope. Like it feels like, it feels more like a comedy act than an actual important political, religious, historical figure anymore. I just think the title of the Pope means far less now than it did decades ago.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, talk about people who moved on from this earth to a different plane. Is we just had so many celebrity deaths. I mean, like huge ones, huge. And we can't talk about all of them because there's countless people, and that's no disrespect to them. We don't get to all of them. Just even this like filmmakers like David Lynch. I mean, dude, a guy in the league of his own.
Really,
I mean,
is.
He's a director's director. He's a writer's writer. He's just like an artist, man. He's truly an artist, and I really recommend people listening to his interviews. He's funny. He's very insightful, very spiritual about movies and just about life.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a fan of his movies, if you just want a really good laugh, it's one of the funniest things. I always watch it every couple of months. Is how he talks about how he got offered the job to direct Return of the Jedi, and that it's about maybe 6 to 8 minutes long. How he met George Lucas. It's such a funny story. The way he tells it, it's really comedy gold. He tells it from the heart, and I really recommend him. You guys listening to that. It's so funny. But another guy, what a legacy! His impact on filmmaking his movies are original.
Yeah.
You can't say anything about that guy. His movies are wow.
I mean, Twin Peaks is
just his television
legendary.
Man, Blue Velvet.
So good.
That's my favorite movie of his. Love The Elephant Man. I love that movie. So good. Just in his first film, Eraserhead, I talk about that's like when you think of indie films, like what's an indie film?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one.
That's an indie film.
Yep. That's it. In terms of just being experimental and weird, unbelievable. Then you had the death of Val Kilmer. Tough.
So that was sad. Top Gun. He was Batman. Underrated Batman, in my opinion. I actually like Batman Forever. I thought he did a really good job. My favorite role of his will always be The Doors. I think he was a great Jim Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
That was a sad one. But Gene Hackman's on the list of people that died. Lex Luthor himself. And that one died in sad and strange circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman's death. Which brings us to Rob Reiner, who's another one that had a crazy ending where he's murdered by his own son. And that guy is, when you want to talk about filmmakers that have a catalog of bangers, I mean, that guy.
Yes.
Every time he made a movie, it was good. My favorite will probably always be The Princess Bride. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a great catalog as well. And he was Meathead in All in the Family. Like that guy is an excellent actor, an excellent director. What a tremendous loss in such a tragic way.
Yeah. I think with Rob Reiner too, I think he always got respect. Unfortunately, sometimes when you pass away, you get more respect, but
more.
His catalog of movies, not only are they all great, they were all different types of films.
Yes.
you had comedies, you had Princess Bride, you had Spinal Tap. Then he did Misery. Okay, whoa.
Yeah.
Then you have Stand by Me. Whoa. Then you have A Few Good Men. Just in that run, that's like what 8 movies I just named. Whatever it is, 5
Yeah.
movies,
It's like everything he did was
and they're
just,
all
like,
different.
amazing.
I mean, talking about
Yeah.
versatility, man. Holy cow!
You know, they say some people are born with a talent
Mm,
to do a thing, and that dude is a filmmaker.
yeah.
He's, in my eyes, one of the best to ever do it, like, Hollywood royalty,
Yes.
Rob Reiner. Really,
And I always loved his.
really.
I always loved his small role in The Wolf of Wall Street, where he,
Oh, I was about to say that. He was great in Wolf of Wall
man,
Street.
just like you said, just a natural too. Like he's a guy who just, man, he
Yeah.
just knows comedy and just
Yep.
energy.
Great delivery.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, always looked to one of those guys that looked to find a way to help people. I always got that impression,
Yeah.
like he was a good person on top of it. I really got that impression from him.
Mm-hmm.
He was very outspoken with his political views, but his political views were, whether you agree with them or you didn't, were always because he wanted to see people be better. So
Yeah, of course.
that was a huge loss. That was a huge loss. But there are so many more. Like you said, we can't get to them all.
But
But
just to name a few big ones. I
yeah,
mean, Hulk Hogan. I mean, wow.
uh,
You know.
talk about your childhood taking a hit when Hulk Hogan
Yep.
dies. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we were big wrestling fans when we were growing up.
Yep.
So it's like
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan was the first real superhero in real life. Say your
Yeah.
prayers, eat your vitamins, and always fighting the good. He was always the best good guy.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I mean, I loved him as his best bad guy. He was a phenomenal entertainer.
yeah.
I mean, a larger than life personality. And again, he said some stuff and did some stuff he probably shouldn't have. But when you look at his career as a whole, I mean, he brought joy to millions and billions of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a tough loss for me. I shed a tear. I really did when he died. I was very upset because that was my childhood, was Hulkamania. So that was a tough one.
Yeah, Diane Keaton, another one who has a
Yeah.
quite versatile. I mean, she has a great legacy. Hey, someone who's our age is Michelle Trachtenberg.
That was this year too, huh?
Yeah,
Well, last year, 2020,
we have someone who passes away young and then the same age as you.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's something I just have to mention real quick. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's one of the pioneers of YouTube. His name was Adam the Woo. I
The
love this
Woo.
guy, and
Yeah.
I've been following this guy probably since 2010. He's been around doing this since 2009. He really broke out on YouTube as his big video. Like, for me, how I found him is he was the one who went into River Country, kind of the abandoned park that was
Yeah.
now destroyed.
In Disney, right?
Yeah, and that kind of really put him on the map, I would say. And then
Yeah.
he got known for doing abandoned videos, and he came into doing theme park and living in his van.
Yep.
But
No,
he's
he
the
was
type,
good.
he's the type of guy who, and I recommend people watching his old videos. He was like one of us, PJ. He was like a guy who's like true blue. He
Yep.
was always like, he really came from nothing, and he made himself made a living doing this stuff. And he's really down to earth. And at one point he had his own daily vlog that he had going for like 5 years. I basically watched every video, and I felt like I spent my days with him too during that time.
Right.
He was really a pioneer. If YouTube ever has like a Hall of Fame, he's definitely got to be in there with
Oh yeah, for
with
sure.
the Casey Neistats. I definitely think Angry Video Game Nerd, he really changed the landscape of YouTube with video game reviews. He's really one of the OGs. Like, those guys, they don't get, I mean, they have tons of views, but they don't really get as much recognition, being the new
Because they were so early.
Yeah, exactly.
They were. It's like they started what made everyone else do it.
Yes.
But then everyone else comes along when YouTube is a bigger thing, and everyone else sort of gets recognized at that point instead of the early adapters of this stuff. And it really is a shame because, like you said, you don't get most of the content you get on YouTube without him. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was shocking. Another shocking death was Ann Burrell from the Food Network.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Food Network, but I like to cook. I like to be in the
Yeah.
kitchen. It's something I really enjoy doing. And so I would always watch cooking shows and try and learn from these people and, read their recipes and try and recreate them. And Ann Burrell was someone that was excellent in terms of teaching people how to cook through a TV.
Mhm.
It's just not always easy to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because a lot of these shows are made for entertainment purposes, not necessarily for education. It's not like the way it was in the past where you would watch a cooking show where they teach you each step. Food Network has moved away from that, but even through the competition shows and everything else, Ann Burrell was someone that was able to teach you how to make a recipe. And when she died, and again, that was, I think they said suicide for her too. That was a big loss. I respected her a lot as a chef, and I never got to eat at one of her restaurants, unfortunately, but that was another one that died. Michael Madsen.
Yeah.
You know, we both love Tarantino movies, and he's
Yeah.
another one.
He's
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
yeah. Oh my God, what's the character's name? Oh, from the Cosby Show.
Theo Huxtable.
Yeah.
Huxtable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes. Oh my God, how can I forget about Ozzy? Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
I mean, a rock metal icon.
No question.
I mean, all these people. I mean, and we haven't even like we're still at the bottom of the list. I mean, like you said, we can't get through everyone, but so many more people have really. Robert Redford.
Yeah. Man?
Robert Redford. You talk about indie filmmaking. I mean, the Sundance Film Festival has launched so many careers.
Yeah.
Because of what it did for some indie filmmakers, and he's now gone. Pioneers, yeah. There's Ace Frehley, another one.
Yeah. Kiss. I mean, iconic folks, iconic people.
So many. I mean, I'm sure we're missing a ton of people
Yeah.
that have passed. When you look at the list, and I'm sure this happens every year, but for some reason, I think because some of the names on this list are starting to be people. Usually, there's a lot of people that die, but I don't have much of a connection to them.
Yes.
But we're
Yeah.
starting to get to the point where the people that are dying are people that I did have a connect, like the Hulk Hogan's and the
Yes.
Ozzy Osbournes of the world. Now it starts to feel like, oh my God, these are people I grew up watching and idolizing, and now they're starting to go. You start to feel it a little more.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. No question. When we talked about Rob Reiner, we talked about his mockumentary about Spinal Tap, but I think a documentary that's been huge right now is 50 Cent's Puff Daddy's, P. Diddy's. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet,
but
it's on my list.
And this isn't a review, but from what I understand is Puff Daddy was actually making his own about himself, and then he stopped. Then, I mean, I don't know what to say. It's like a movie. He is
It is like a movie.
The rights to.
The way I understand
Holy
it is
cow.
Diddy was making this documentary, I guess, to try and, I don't know if I want to say clear his name, but to show his side of the story, make him not look as bad. And because of everything that's sort of been happening with Diddy, I guess they ran out of money or something like that, and they couldn't they couldn't continue with the production. And so Diddy didn't own the footage. I guess this production, whoever he was making the movie with, owned it. And 50 comes in and he's like, I got all the money, so I'm going to just buy all that footage and make my own documentary about this. And I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure it is not pro Diddy. That's for sure.
Yeah. Here's something that I think few people actually watched. Was actually the World Series this year. That was the Dodgers beating the Blue Jays. Now, as they said it's one of the best World Series ever in terms of the games and look, it was a wild series, but it didn't really have the best ratings. Now, obviously, the Blue Jays aren't the Yankees that are going to draw that kind of viewers, but
they're not going to get those people. But it used to be back in the day, just the event in itself could get people to watch the games, and I feel like that's not happening anymore.
Dude, it's every sport. I put on our list too, like the NBA having a cup, like the Knicks one. Look, I'm a Knicks fan, but it doesn't mean anything. Why are you doing these things? Like, all sports are really hurting, and it kind of
hockey's my favorite sport. No one watches hockey. I mean, unless you're a hockey fan, like the skills competition, the All-Star games, the Stanley Cup, that doesn't draw in a casual viewer.
No way, not
as hard
anymore.
as they might try, it doesn't.
The point I want to focus on is the gambling thing. Really changes the landscape. We had that other NBA scandal, right?
Yeah.
With the guys who were betting, they were kind of throwing the game so he can win the stats, because guys, with the online gambling, you can just do, I can't remember what it's called, this type of bet. Well, you can just bet on like if this guy's going to make this free throw or not. You don't have to bet on the entire game.
Yeah.
So,
no, you can just bet on certain stats, certain things to happen.
Exactly. So why would you care if your team wins? You're going to do it. So it changes the landscape of how these games are viewed.
And I do that too. I do parlays.
Oh, that's what it's called.
They have like a parlay where you could be like, all right, if this guy gets 2 touchdowns and this team gets a sack and this guy does this, you can win X amount of money. And I do that sometimes. I'll it's fun. It makes the games more fun for me anyway. I'm not betting thousands of dollars or anything like that. I put a couple bucks on, see what happens. But especially during Super Bowl, I'll do stuff like that. But you're right, it does change it, because now these guys are like, I can make a ton of money up for myself if I just bet against what I know is going to happen in this game anyway, because they know what the plays are and they know who's being taught. The gambling, I think, does have a real effect on the outcome of sports.
Yeah, and just the way you view them, the way you watch them, because you don't really care. I don't care if the Yankees win. I don't care if the Lakers win. I just want to know if these two guys get a shot.
I just want thing I need to happen to give me some Bucks wins.
Exactly. You're not gonna. Basically, long story short, it's not gonna make you want to buy a jersey at that point. You're just gonna.
Right.
You don't care. PJ, know what I think was a victory this year? And I loved it. They came back weirder than ever. Wicked for good. Ariana and Cynthia. They came back with the best
Sure did.
and the even more
Man.
weirder interviews, and I loved it, man. I hope I'm like, oh man, maybe they'll be self-conscious this time. Maybe they'll be more formal.
Nope.
Nope,
They just said, yeah, well, they doubled
they
down.
did.
They doubled down
And
on oddness.
I loved it, man. I mean, there's one.
Did you watch the movie, by the way?
No, I haven't seen the first one.
I saw them both, and I wish I didn't. But those are just not my kind of movies, and I hate The Wizard of Oz anyway. But but yeah, they sure did do crazy shit again.
I want to like it sounds mean. I want to like make a compilation, then show them like, do you ladies feel like this is normal at all? Like, I want to be like, is this a big joke? You ladies are smart. You're not dumb. You're talented singers or actors. Like, is this any part of this of you trolling us? There has to be.
I feel like the second time around it is. I think the first time around, maybe they were just very weird people. And when they realized the reaction they got and how many people viewed it and all the publicity they got, I think this time around it's like they just put on an act.
Right.
That's what I think.
Right.
That's what I hope.
Right.
See, I don't want these people going around like this in the real world, right? That would be
right. And then we have Netflix potentially buying Warner Brothers, which is huge, folks. And somebody
that is huge
because it's really going to change how they already said it's just changing the landscape. You know, Disney already Marvel. They bought 20th Century Fox. It's going to change.
It's like there's just no real studios left. It's all just like 3 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What I read about this Netflix thing, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I did read this online. You know how you have to release movies in theaters to be eligible for certain awards and stuff? What I read was that Netflix doesn't really have a distribution avenue to get movies in theaters or anything like that. And that's why you would get like 2-day runs of like, Knives Out in a theater for like 2 days just so they could have it there in case. And the reason they wanted to buy out Warner Brothers was so that now they have distribution on a wide scale that doesn't cost them extra money. I mean, it costs you a couple of billion. I don't understand why you think because you bought it, but that's their whole thing. So I wonder now, though, if that's the case, if that's really the reason why they did it, right? Does that mean any potentially good movie doesn't get put on Netflix at all anymore? It becomes a Warner Brother movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is that because like think about Frankenstein? We talked about Frankenstein. That I think had the 1-day release or whatever. They did it, and then it was. So let's say they have a movie like that again. Does that mean it doesn't go straight to Netflix this time? It becomes a Warner Brothers film and now gets released through that so that it could be eligible for awards. Is that the idea? Because Netflix knew they had these films that are high quality potential award candidates, but no way to get them into the picture. So this is and then what do you do with HBO Max at that point? Because are you going to stream these things on Netflix and HBO Max? Are you going to merge the two?
Yeah.
It's, it really, like you said, it changes the landscape a lot. I don't know what the business model is going to be for this. They've come out and said they're keeping all of the HBO staff in place, like the James Gunns of the world or whoever else is, big in Warner Brothers. They're going to keep them in their roles to do their Warner Brother things, and Netflix is going to be separate. That doesn't make sense to me why you would do it that way. That feels like you're wasting money. This is going to be if it gets approved and that becomes an actual merger, I think it's going to have some big implications on how we consume movies.
No question, man. Like we said before earlier, AI is going to change things. And when it comes to entertainment, this is definitely going to be a game changer in entertainment.
Absolutely.
So lastly, to talk about, PJ and I are hoping, and the rest of our team are changing entertainment as well. So PJ and I wrote a film together, a short film together, and we submitted to a local film contest, local film festival that's been around for over a decade.
The Scared for Your Life Horror Film Festival.
Mm-hmm. And then we submitted, I had a category where you just submit your screenplay. So we submitted it, and we won Best Original Screenplay. So we were really thrilled, and we still are. And we are working on our movie. We have a team right now, as a team before. We have Uncle Rob and our buddy Simon, who've been on our past episodes. So yeah, our movie's going to be hopefully come out later this year in 2026. But we also are forming our own production company. It's called Twisted Pigeon. And hopefully through that avenue, we'll put out different kind of media. And the first project we're going to put out is our movie. But we can confidently say that Cool Kids is a product of Twisted Pigeon.
Yep.
So more to come. But PJ, anything else that I missed that you want to share with the folks?
Yeah, I just think, I think it's a long time coming because as far back as we've known each other, right? We've always talked about wanting to do more creative things and be creative. And the time was right for us to to really sit down and say, well, let's do something.
Yep.
And we wrote a movie. And like you said, we'll have an episode with everybody on, and maybe we'll go through the history of how it all happened. But should we announce the name of it, or do you want to wait for Rob
wait.
we'll wait for Uncle Rob and Simon for when we announce more of the specifics. But this is our first short film that we're going to do. I think I could say there will be more for sure.
Yep.
And I think, like you said, there'll be all sorts of content, I think, that will come out of this. Not just films. Maybe we'll put other stuff out through this. But I think creatively, this is going to be a great outlet for us. I think we're going to do a lot of great things. I think the time is right. And I believe in us. And I know that what we put out there is going to be high quality entertainment, unique entertainment, an alternative to this. You put the TV on and it's the same old shit each day. I think we're going to bring something different. And I believe in the art that we're going to put out.
100%. And folks, we won that award in December of 2025. And we wanted to end on that note just to kind of announce that. And we're very proud of it. And I'm honored to do that with PJ and my brother and Simon, to have this new journey, and that we're diving into a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. And I'm really happy I'm doing it with PJ, and it's a great feeling, folks.
It's a long time coming. Yep. This is 30 plus years in the making that we were going to do something big, and here we are. I was having a conversation with my sister the other day, and we were just talking about certain things, and I was like, sometimes you just have to do the thing that you want to do and think about it later. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, if you keep thinking, should I do this? Should I do this? Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe this is a good idea. Maybe if you keep thinking, you won't do it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to just say, this is a thing that I'm going to do. And then you do it, and you think, you think about it after the fact. Right. And I feel like that's kind of what we did. Not that we went into it blindly or anything like that, but we said, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it. And we'll start this process. And then as we go further, we'll think about, how do we expand? How do we distribute? How do we do that? But if you stay hung up on all of those what ifs and how do I do, you won't actually ever do anything. And I think a lot of people don't do the thing they want to do. They just say they want to do the thing. And we didn't do that. And that's something that we should really pat ourselves on the back for, because a lot of people don't have it in them to say, I am going to do this, and then actually follow through. And we did follow through.
Yep.
So I'm proud of us, and good for us for doing it. Because a lot of people don't have the testicular fortitude to do that. And we did, and good for us.
Yeah, totally. And folks at home, like PJ said, it's okay to dream, and also go for it. Dreaming's not enough. You have to go.
You got to do it.
It's scary. No one wants to fail, but you'd rather, trust me, you're going to feel better if you try and do it. Trust me. It's gonna pay off in some way. I mean, I get exactly close to what you're gonna do, whatever your dream is, but don't just dream. Definitely do.
Yeah.
Go out and
you gotta do it.
Do it.
Because if you don't, you just always stuck with in the back of your mind, well, what if I would have? Would it have worked?
You don't want to live in that.
And that's worse.
Exactly.
That's worse. Because then on the day you retire from whatever job it is that you've suffered through for the last 40 years, and you're like, well, this was my life. I sat in an office creating spreadsheets. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what you're left with, because you didn't try to do the thing you wanted to do. Don't leave it out there. Put everything on the table. Don't. And that's what we're doing. And that's what I think more people should do. And the more people that do that, that's how you start to see, that's how you get Pulp Fiction. That's how you get Reservoir Dogs. That's how you get Clerks. That's how you get things that change the scope of the world.
Yep.
People that aren't afraid to do it. And I really believe in that. And that's why I say it. I'm really proud that we didn't just say we wanted to do a thing. We did a thing. Good for us.
Yep, totally. So folks, thanks for hanging out with us. We look forward to spending 2026 with you. We have a lot of more episodes coming.
Yep. We'll have more guests. We'll have more projects coming up. It's going to be a good year. I think 2026 is going to be a big year for us. So stick around, folks, because you're not going to want to miss it.
Same time, same table.
Have a good one.
Boys and girls, lunchtime is over. For more information, visit their website at coolkidslunchtable.podbean.com. Follow the boys on all social media platforms. Just search Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast. Now get to class before you get detention.